Hello guys and welcome back to MRC Tier 1. We are here in Canada, which has actually got beautiful sunshine, unlike what we saw in Tier 2 about 25 minutes ago. But the Elite Boys are here. They are ready to go as always. It's going to be a super intense battle between God knows who, but there's usually about 9 cars involved in this tier for the win, so be sure to probably donate some money to my voice after this if that's okay. But yeah, evening Mr. Hodgson, out on track, not just yet, but he's in the garage. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. But tonight I'm joined by a man that's never been in the comms on MRC anyway, but his name is Lewis, I think. I hope it is. God,
yeah, you're actually one of very few people to get it right.
Yeah, well, I would have called you Louis. I'd have got the French route, but yeah.
I'll be honest, I'll answer to either. It doesn't bother me the slightest.
But yeah, I'm joined by also known as C8 Lou, who is the Tier 2 driver. So yeah, welcome to comms. You excited for this race?
When it's me not racing it, I'm very excited for things because I am useless at times.
I mean, I can't say anything, because if you're useless, then I don't know what on earth I am. But, yeah. Wait, hold on. My good friend Jamie Bithell is in the chat again. He always says if Calvin wins. Right, what is it this week? If BRD Calvin gets pole, I'll buy him a 1 kg bag of mini eggs. What do I get? I mean, what do I have to do for a 1 kg bag of mini eggs? I'm on comms, bear in mind. Please keep it within reason and non-P and PG, if that's okay. That would be greatly appreciated. Mark said it looks dry to me tonight. Yeah, that's only because Chris is dodgy and probably set the settings to dry.
I believe Calvin's going to be setting the first lap. He's just come to the end of sector 2. He's at the turn 10 hairpin.
I need to. I tell you what, I'm such a noob at comms that I've forgotten to put everything on the screen. Calvinio, where is he? Mr. Has a farm. He is just coming up to the famous Wall of Champions. He's going to take the Saffron route to the line, and it's a 1:10.8. That's a good little banker, but that's nowhere near the pole time of Tier 2, is it? That was a 1:9.5?
1.3 seconds off that.
Bobo, though, what a lap from him. 10-0. Good banker, that is. Turn into Prime Michael Massey at Abu Dhabi. Jamie, you clearly never heard me comms, because that is a regular occurrence purely by accident. I bet, but wait, what did Panizza just say about Baby Hornet? If you're slagging him off, I completely agree. If you're not, then I don't agree. I bet Baby Hornet in top 3. Yeah. Chris Bailey is on Inters and he's done a 13.3. Love it. That's faster than I can do in dry, so cheers. Colin's done a 30.1. Are you driving a boat?
Just watching Ben, he's coming up to the final chicane. He did a 19.1 first sector, which is mind-boggling.
Yeah, I don't know how much of Tier 1 you've watched, but his 1 lap pace, I genuinely believe he can get in the 108s round here.
His 1 lap pace, what was it, X on Friday, was a 9.2 or 3, which is, and he did that in a Haas, I think it was, which is a realistic Haas, which is just, I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah, he's absolute filth. I mean, we've also got the GOAT of MRC in the Red Bull coming to the end of his first lap. And that is Mr. Damiano Ujodi. What's his time going to be? A 109.1. There you go. There goes Tier 2 pole out the window because he has smashed it on a banker.
I'm going to give that clap already because I don't even know how people do these things. It's just...
If you're clapping that already, your hands are going to be very sore by the end of this session. Baby Hornet into P4 with a 110.5. That is
Ben's
9
just
tenths
coming back
ahead
down
of.
the back straight again.
That's 9 tenths ahead of anyone, by the way, from you, Jody. But let's have a look at Ben 1088.
Ben.
Yeah, told you he's going to be the one. That's a banker. Can I just add that is a banker lap? That is absolutely crazy. Let's see what Mike Crash is going to do. A 109.4. That's very respectable.
That is very good time.
But let's have a look. A lot of drivers haven't rushed out the pits here. J Sarge, LRL, Bergen, Armar Red, Lawpiece, Saviour. Oh, Saviour is out on track. Let's go and have a look at him. I believe he won race 1 of Tier 1. Yeah, I believe he won the first race of Tier 1
He's
this
actually
season.
getting a tell for Mercedes in front of him as well.
Yeah, he certainly is. He'll probably get out of the way. I'd like to, well, unless it's on a lap, and if it's on a lap, that's probably hindered him at this point, but...
I think it was...
Oh, yeah!
Oh, he spun out as well.
For some reason, the fact that that Mercedes went in the pit lane probably hindered him into the braking zone a little bit.
It does, yeah, if you get close enough to somebody. On my final lap, I was 3/10 up going into the last chicane, and because I was a bit too close to somebody, you know, you get the lock-up effect in the smoke. The smoke hindered my view into the chicane, and I lost 2/10 coming into it because I went so cautiously into it. So you don't want to be close to somebody into that chicane.
Well, I don't know if you was league racing when there was that glitch where the smoke sat around after for a little while.
Oh yeah, I have seen it.
Oh, it was like, yeah, it made the game verging on undrivable for about 2-3 weeks. It was awful, but LRL, it is good to see him back out on track. He has not had the best of the last few seasons, but let's hope he can find his way back towards the front. A 42.0 middle sector. I have no idea if that's any good at all or not, but good luck.
You want to be in the 41s, I believe. Low 41s.
I think Ben was probably in the 39s. But let's see what LRL can do. Coming into the final chicane now. Very close to the wall of champions, but he manages to keep out of it. The Ferrari behind him didn't. That's a 10.7. He's into 11th for now. Mark Hodgson did a 1:10.7 on mediums.
That is very good on mediums.
I actually know.
Just was a 41.8.
Who's that? Sorry.
Armar Red. He's coming into the final chicane now.
Well, he's just been on the podium in the Tier 2 race. I believe he won race 1 of Tier 2 as well. So we know he's insanely quick at the minute, but let's see what he can do. 10.3s into the top 10. I have a feeling we're going to get a few calls starting very soon. That is going to be of Armar Red to Tier 1. I think Season 17 could well see the young Irishman head to Tier 1.
Yeah, Armar's very quick, and he's also, from a few races that I've been in, I don't actually think I've seen him get a time penalty in terms of track limits.
I was about to say, like...
And I've missed it. It's so rare that I've seen that happen from him.
What I'm going to say now is probably sounds stupidly unrealistic, right? But he's good over one lap, but that's actually his weak point. His consistency is beyond wild. It's very rare you see a mistake from Mr. Armar Red. But Nick Beattie has just invalidated his lap. He's into P11 at the minute. Saviour's last at the minute.
Should start at his second lap.
Who's that? Sorry, Bergen?
Joni.
Oh, Joni. Ooh.
He's nearly 1.5 tenths up through the first sector.
Yeah, I think this is... I mean, based off this at the minute, it looks like it's going to be a straight-up battle for him and Ben. Potentially Micromash and Ant, but I'd say it's mainly... Oh, he's just gone super wide now. A massive snap mid-corner, though, you Joni. He's still up, though. 1
tenths up.
Yeah. I mean, this will put him roughly on par with Ben as it stands. But it's going to be a close one. Ben is also out on tracks. I think he started. Oh, he's invalidated you, Joni has.
Ben is he's currently gonna move the goalpost. He's a 10th up to the. No, he's backed out.
By the way, you Joni just got a 108.7 with that invalidation. So he will be kicking himself.
Yeah, Ben was just over a 10th up through the first sector, coming through like under the bridge chicane, but he's clipped the curb too much and just unsettled the car, so he's backed out. So I imagine he's going to go again in a second.
Yeah, let's have a look at Rassam. He is 11.6 seconds down on his time, so he is moving absolutely nowhere. Let's go and have a look at the 6-time MRC champion, Mr. Saviour. 2 cents down in the first sector, but don't forget, he's invalidated. That's part of the reason why he's down. This is not a good session at the minute for Saviour, but let's go and have a look at Bobo. He's also invalidated. God, everyone I'm going to is invalidating. Nick BT, what's he do? He's invalidated. Great. Looks like no mini eggs for Calvin. Yeah, he's letting you down, Jamie. Such a letdown, isn't he? Mr. Calvin has a zoo. So
Samplan nearly half a second up on his time.
Cool, that could be a good time. He's currently 7th as well, so
I don't know if my data was just lying to me if I clicked on his name there, because then another time appeared, so that could have been a lie to me.
Yeah, I think it was a lie, because I've just clicked up to him and he's 2 tenths down in the first sector. So I think that might have been a bit of a fib that it told you. He's done a 42.9 in the middle, so there's no way he's up.
Down, yeah.
Jamie said, do you remember when I destroyed it? I don't know when. I don't remember you being in the league, if I'm totally honest. Or if you was in the league. That's not me being rude, but I really don't. My memory is that of a 95-year-old. So, yeah. Let's have a little look. Is Bobo back on it? No, he's invalidated again. Bobo, there is a track you're meant to stay on. Ben, you're cutting every corner going and mowing the grass. Great. Brilliant advert for MRC, that. Cheers. Let's have a look at Chris Bailey in his Ferrari. See what he can do in the middle sector. He'll be looking to put himself firmly within that top 10. That'll be his main aim. Let's have a look. Middle sector, 41.3. 4 tenths up at the minute, so he's looking potentially in the top 5 at the minute. If you destroyed him in a 1v1, why don't you come and league race then, huh? Or did he give you, Joni, your account details? But let's see what Chris can do. He's going to come through the chicane. He just about avoids the wall of champions. The kick in front of him had a bit of a moment, but that's a 109.6, and that's into P5 at the minute for the Bailey. And Saviour's popped it into P3 as well. That's a good time from Saviour. 109.3.
You can't rule out Saviour for races. Like he's won that pace. Obviously, is exceptional. Maybe slightly down on Ben and Ujoni, but his race pace is, to me, it's on the same level as them two. So he has every chance to win the race.
Oh, so the scariest bit about Saviour is he has every sort of experience imaginable at winning titles as well. He's won only like 2 less than you, Jody. But he's won most of his in MRCX. But Saviour did also win a Tier 1 championship without actually winning a race on track.
It can be done, because I remember when obviously I joined last season, Bergen, he did win obviously in Qatar, but that was the only race that he won out of the entire season that I saw.
Yeah. No, Bergen was insanely consistent last season. He was always there or thereabouts. Sometimes that is what is enough, but absolutely everyone is now in the pit lane other than Jay Sarge. Let's go and have a look at him. He's also a former 3-time champion of Tier 1, but that was back in the day. He's slept since then. So let's see what he can do. That was season 4, 5 and 6. He dominated in this league. since then, not so much, but he'll be looking and eager, because this is his return season as well. He'll be looking and eager to get right back in the mix. Is a 19.5 any good for the first sector? Because I don't have a clue. But let's see what can Mr. J. Sarge do in the middle sector. He's got a 41.5. So
he's looking at a low 10 with that time, I believe.
Yeah, he won't like the fact that this is his first lap and it's right at the end. But let's see what he can do, unless he has an almighty last sector. He might be looking at top 10 here though, at least. But let's see, it's going to be a 1:10.2. That's 12th place for him at the minute. I don't think he's going to get another lap in. But let's go and have a look. Bobo, I don't think has. No, he hasn't. He's not pushing at all. He's got 97% battery, so he definitely.
He's on a lap currently, half a tenth though.
Yeah, he's invalidated.
He's just backed out. Yeah.
He'll be recharging that battery like crazy down the back straight, because he will get to go again.
Ben's just had a spin coming out of the chicane and damaged his wing, so that'll be his qualifying over.
Yeah, that's far from ideal for Ben.
He was nearly a tenth down, so I think he's trying to push the limits a bit too hard there to get the time back.
Yeah, he has got an end plate missing as well, so it's actually it's going to really affect him. So, but wow, there's a big train of cars going down that back straight at the minute. But let's go and have a watch of Bobo. He is on a lap, so let's see what he can do. Can he push himself into the top 5 around the Chris Bailey sort of region? He's nearly 4 tenths up at the minute, so it's looking good early stages here for Bobo.
Looking for him.
He'll be hoping for a little tow down this back straight from someone. There's enough cars going down there, so I'd like to think he could possibly.
Looking at a potential P3, maybe P4 for this lap.
Potentially, if he gains enough in the last sector. He's absolutely committed, but he's hit the wall of champions. He's out. He did really commit to it though.
He went slightly too deep into that, I'd say, which, coming out the angle of that chicane, teetering, hitting the wall there.
Tell you what, Ben has gone again, and do you know what? With that wing damage, he's only a tenth down on his time. But here comes you, Jody. Is he going to take pole away? Yes, he is just. Mike Crabash's round. His qualifying's done. He's got the same place as Ben did. But Saviour's on a charge. He could be threatening the front row potentially here. Bobo said I didn't see the last chicane. That's a bit of an issue, mate. But let's see, is Saviour going to threaten the front row? Maybe even pole? No, he's going to be P3. I think he'll take that though overall. What about Ant? What's he going to do? He's nearly 2 tenths up. Can he now threaten the front row? I think he's going to. Let's have a look. Oh no, he's in P4. He had a bit of a bad last corner. G-Star's, okay, no, everyone's done. Right. Crazy. So, your qualifying grid for the race. Jody starts pole, Ben in second, Saviour is third, Ant is fourth, Microbash is in fifth, sixth is Chris Bailey, seventh Bergen, eighth LRL, ninth Samplan, 10th is Bobo, 11th G-Star, 12th Nick, 13th Calvin, 14th Colin, 15th J-Sarge, 16th Mark, 17th Bummer Red, 18th Baby Hornet, 19th Rassam, and 20th is Lorpy. Now you get the absolute brilliant co-commentary duties of picking a winner. And if you pick the guy who got pole, you usually will get slagged off in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, as I say. From what I've seen so far, obviously, Ujoni, Ben, and Saviour, their pace, them three, is ridiculous. Outside chance thrown in, but I'm going to go with last week's winner, Saviour.
Yeah, no, that's a fair choice. I think with this track as well, though, it's a very difficult track to almost pull a lead because it's constant DRS, very long straights. You know, it's a very difficult track. There's 3 DRS zones here, don't forget. So to pull over a second, it's a difficult track, and especially with Tier 1, where, especially over a race distance normally, a lot of them are very evenly matched. So
yeah, it's also quite difficult to overtake in terms of you need to know when to attack somebody, because if you try and attack somebody going into one of the chicanes, if you go side by side, you could lose DRS on the people in front of you. So you've kind of got to be clever when you're going to actually attack somebody. You've got to do it so you don't lose the train, because losing it around here, if you get 2 people just swapping DRS constantly that are on the same pace, you've got no hope in catching back up to them.
yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's one of these tracks where, as well, it's like a lot of people have mentioned, it's another track where track limits play a very big part as well. It's a very easy track to get penalties at.
Yeah, I think it's turn 3. It's a bit of a blind right left, so you've kind of got to pick your brake. If you brake a little bit too early and turn in, easy invalidation there. It's easy to go deep under the bridge as well. If you brake a bit too late, you will just go straight and not make the turn. And obviously the final chicane, you can take the right turn quite easy, but if you cut obviously slightly a bit too left, it's easy to invalidate there as well. So you've got 2 or 3 places that are quite easy to invalidate on, but the skill of these lot in this tier, I don't really see many penalties.
I think we will still see a few. I think a lot of them, because these guys, they push to the absolute limit, and they're quite often in each other's dirty air. So you do quite often, actually. It's kind of surprising how often you do see penalties, but they're always fighting very, very hard. Like, you will notice that probably at some point in this race, you will have up to 10 cars in the battle for the win.
Yeah.
But
I will say, interesting fact about this track.
Yeah.
2011 Canadian Grand Prix, would you like to hazard a guess at the length of time that race took to complete?
It was like 4 hours something, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much spot on. 4 hours, 4 minutes and 39 seconds, and won by Jenson Button, who I believe was last at one point during the race.
He was last about 3 times. He had 2 10-second penalties. I believe he had a stop-go penalty. Was last 3 times, and still
made a collision between him and Hamilton as well, I believe, on the pit straight.
Yeah, also between him and Alonso as well.
Too much and took his wing out.
Yeah, he hit Alonso as well and ended his race. Got a penalty for that. It's the greatest victory I've ever seen, without a shadow of a doubt. I remember watching that race live. Incredible.
I dread to think watching what that must have been like, because I remember a couple of seasons ago, I think it was 2 seasons ago at Spa, when they had the rain delay and did 3 laps. My mind was just gone watching that, so I don't know. I couldn't imagine watching a 4 hour.
Back when this happened, there was no limit on how much time the race had to be done. So, whereas now they've got to do it in like a 2-hour limit from when the lights go out, you know? Whereas now, back then, I think the race stopped like 3 times due to rain in that race. It was wild. But, yeah, no, it was, that's the most enjoyable, like, if I think back to enjoyable races in F1, I think that's probably, it's definitely top 2. And it's definitely the greatest win I've ever seen by a driver. Absolutely sensational.
I could be wrong, but is that limit now where they have to finish? Is that due to noise on the track? Is it, or?
Well, a lot of it comes down to daylight. particularly for the European races, because a lot of these tracks don't have like surround lighting.
Floodlights.
So if it gets dark, it will be pitch black on the track. But there's also, yeah, you got to think noise of locals and stuff like that as well. It's also TV rights.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of things that they have to take into consideration when it comes to. I mean, in my lifetime, I don't think I've ever seen a race like cancelled on the Sunday, then rerun on the Monday. I mean, we saw it with qualifying at Brazil last year, where that was run on the Sunday morning. But
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, let's have a look at tyres for this Tier 1 race. So the front 7 all mediums. LRL's gone soft, then you've got Sam Flandau to Calvin mediums, and you've got Collins, Sarge, Hodge, Baby Hornet and Rassam all on the hard tyres. So they're going for the long game and hoping not that there is not an early safety car here.
That was the one downfall of the Tier 2 race that I was in. You had the threat of rain coming in, so you want to try and stretch out mediums, but it was a bit too far. And then starting on the hards, constant safety cars got the tyres cold, so you couldn't get any heat into them.
Yeah, it's one of them where you got to be so careful with what you actually go with, because you wish that the rain was like accurately predicted, but it never really is it? But this is going to be an interesting start, because obviously turn 1 here is incredibly tight as you lead into turn 2. So this is going to be a close one off the start. Baby Hornet has missed his starting position, but we are going to get some lights in a second. Let's go on board with Ujoni off the start. 5 red lights, and we are racing. It's a good start from Ujoni. It's a good enough start from Ben as well. He's going to have a little peek around the outside, but I think for now everyone seems to have made it round pretty cleanly early on, so that's good news for all of those guys involved at the minute. Yeah, everyone seems to be pretty okay.
Yeah, Bobo's managed to gain 2 places, Bergen down 2. Something's happened to G-Star. Is that a spin?
Yeah, he's got a spin somewhere towards the back. Yeah, it's going to hurt him, but he's a good driver. I'm sure he will be able to make up the place and come back a bit. Good side-by-side battle at the back between Rassam and Amar Red there. That was incredible driving between those two. But, we're nearly 4 wide into the chicane. Hornet's having a little look at the Red... No, sorry. Yeah, it is Hornet having a little look at the Red Bull. He's made a good start as well. He's up to 15th. So, yeah, we've got a few drivers. Don't forget the top 15 all score points now as well. So, see what though, let's go down and look at this battle between Nick and Berger. Nick through on Berger's good move up the inside into the last chicane. But Ujoni sets the fastest lap early on, but Ben is hot on his tail in P2 at the minute. Saviour's right there as well, he's ready to pout. So there's not a whole lot going on. They're all fairly just single file at the minute. Ant's holding on, he stays in the DRS at the minute. Micromash right there as well. Chris, LRL's on the soft tyres, don't forget, so early on he's going to be very, very rapid on those softs.
I did see a couple of people select softs. I don't think they're going to last very long though. You're probably looking maybe 6 to 8 laps, especially on high fuel. The rear tyres are going to wear quickly.
Yeah, I mean, on high fuel it's going to be even worse, but I mean, he's gone to aim gain some positions early on, so, and Ben's just taken Ujoni for the lead, which I have missed, but oh, Ujoni's hit the wall of champions. Saviour's now going to be lining him up for turn 1, and he's going to get him as well. a horror lap for Eugenie there. But Eugenie's going to switch back into turn 2. Now he's going to on the run down to 3. What a move that was from Eugenie. That was a very naughty switch back there from Mr. Eugenie. Wow. That was incredible.
Baby Hornet's had a knock. He's missing his front right end plate.
Oh, not a good start from the Baby Hornet. He's struggling. I know he doesn't like this track, I have to say that. But there's a bit of a battle behind between Micromashing, and Micromashing's going to have a look into the chicane. No, he's not quite close enough. Bailey's there ready to pick up any pieces of disaster that happened between these guys. But it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. Micromash has the run. Is he going to make the move on? And just seems to have that little bit of straight line speed over him at this stage. But Eugenie, he's not fallen too far off the back of Ben though, which is quite important at this stage. Bobo's made the move on LRL 4P7. I think LRL's tyres have gone already. Look at how far he's dropped back, and it's cost Bobo to drop that far back as well.
Yeah, the tyre wear on the rears is, you get virtually next to nothing on the front, but the rears, there's so much traction on them that the wear just shoots up.
Yeah. Definitely. It's going to be a interesting one moving forward, this little bit of battle. I think, yeah, LRL, look, he's already struggling like crazy. Bobo's already pulled 1.2 seconds on him since getting past. This is those soft and not the...
just taking him.
Yeah, round the outside. Good move. But yeah, they're definitely not the right tyre to be on at this stage, that is for sure. Micromash made the move on and 4P4 as well, so Micromash is now going to be hoping. He's out at the DRS of Sadie, Eugenie and Ben now as well, which is not ideal. But this battle for the lead, 3 cars. Well, Micromash is now on the fringes of being back in the DRS as well. So yeah, this is going to start to really, really hot up. But at the minute, I'd say the quickest driver looks like it's Xavier, based off what we're seeing at the minute.
Yeah, they're all just keeping a steady gap of 3 to 4 tenths to each other out at the front, and Micromash is teetering on the edge of being in DRS and then just out of DRS. He needs to hit it at the right time just to get that zone.
I was going to say, every time he gets to the detection, he seems to just about drop out of it. But he's in it this time, just as well, literally just. But he did look like he was in it there at the detection zone, so... This time he might actually have the... I'm going to check actually if he does have it. I'm going to go on board and look back. Nope, apparently he doesn't. So I've been mugged off there. But these front 3 are absolutely going tooth and nail at the minute. But Eugenie's going to make the move on Ben into turn 1. He's made a lunge. Is this going to open up the opportunity potentially for Beggs? He did go a bit deep into... Turn 2, he's had a bit of a twitch on exit, but no, Eugenie has got it done. That was a good little lunge. A good move up the inside from the man in the Red Bull, which I'm still not used to because I've seen Eugenie so many seasons now in a Ferrari that it feels weird for me to see him in anything other than that.
It does seem a bit weird just to see an Italian not in a Ferrari. Like,
right.
2 things
Yeah.
that I know about Italy: you're either a Christian, you're a Christian and you're a Ferrari fan, because that's what it is in Italy. It's
Yeah, well, I mean, as well, it's like I think he's won something like the last 6 or 7 Tier 1 titles in this league, and every season he's been in Ferrari, and obviously this is the tier I commentate more than any other. So I'm so used to seeing him in it that now seeing him in a Red Bull is very confusing. But I tell you what, Xavier's going to... Oh, I thought he was going to make the move for P2 on Eugenie then, because he's just lost the position to Ben. But we're now back to a 6-horse race for this lead, because Ant and Chris have also joined the party.
Yeah, I think Bobo in P7 is hoping they do some battling so he can get into the DRS, because He's a little bit in no man's land. He's got nobody to work with him.
Yeah, it's one of their. Well, he's actually starting to catch now. I think all these guys are starting to slow each other down now because they're all so close. They're all in each other's dirt. Yeah. But
Oh, Ant's had a spin. I think he's had contact with Chris.
oh, that's a big shame.
Doesn't appear to have any damage from what I can see. So I don't know if maybe they've just tapped wheels and the contact model of this game is spinning really easy.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Ant had a bit. Oh, hold on. There's a big battle for the lead, though. They're 3 wide and then down to turn 1. Johnny takes it. Savior's into P2. Ben's lost 2 positions. That was good battling between the front 3. Thoroughly enjoyable battle at the minute. So, see how this plays out. I mean, I'm wondering if Bobo potentially got caught up in something with Ant because he dropped all the way back as well off the pack now. So Calvin's had a moment.
Calvin's just had a spin.
Yeah, I saw that. He was dropping down the positions.
He's got an end plate missing on the right.
Huge shame. Jamie has cursed him. But let's see, I think Saviour could be about to take the lead of this race, you know. And I'll tell you what, he is.
The LOL pitted at the start of this lap, so he's Softed only taking just under 8 laps.
Yeah, certainly.
Michael Mash is having a go to Joe now.
He is, he certainly is.
And he's got it done, looks like.
Yeah, very good move from Micromash. He's put himself firmly in this battle now for the lead. I'll tell you what, he's right on the back of Ben. I'll tell you what, he might even get Ben. No, he had a bit of a twitch which actually hurt him. But is he going to line him back up potentially? No, but Saviour looks like he's starting to pull a bit of a gap here. I said, Saviour looked like the one who had all the pace, didn't he?
Yeah.
And now he's starting to show it. Like this is the biggest gap. I know it's still not a big gap in the lead, but this is the biggest gap I've seen of the leaders. Someone's mic is buzzing. Is that better? I don't know. My mic was on charge because my remote was on charge because of the fact that it was about to die, so I didn't have a lot of choice.
3-second warning for Micromash as well. I think he must have put the chicane at the end, turn 11-12.
Yeah, certainly. Is that any better now, Martin? Yeah, okay, it's me then. Chris. Yeah, I wonder if Bobo's got some sort of damage, you know.
I was going to say, he was firmly within the DRS. He got it down to about half a second.
Micromash has had a moment.
2 places.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Micromash has just dropped behind, well, back behind you, Jody and Chris. So something happened. But Bobo now, again, is starting to catch back up. So I wonder if he was feeling the tyre wear a bit more than everyone else, and now his tyres are starting to come back to him.
Potentially, as I say, he was only within half a second of the leaders. I don't know if maybe when Ant had the spin, if it put him off maybe, because he thought he was going to get contact and that pulled him out of it.
Yeah, quite possibly. But this is it's very much hotting up. Bobo seems right. So based off what I'm seeing right now, Bobo has way higher wings than everybody else. Because it seems to be in a straight line, they pull about 6 to 7 tenths on him.
It could be that. You probably do have to think they've all got DRS in front of him, so unless he's going to blast his overtake, which there's probably no point because they're just going to easily gain on him. But he's suddenly dropping off the pace. He's now 2.5 seconds. He was only 1.5 behind him. Safety car just been deployed as well.
Yeah, that definitely changes this race a little bit. See what, all the guys on the mediums though will definitely fly into the pits.
Yeah, the hards around here are very durable. I can't see why that safety car was.
No, we didn't get any sort of indication. I think someone.
Oh, sorry, Baby Hornet's doing it.
Yeah, I think he's had a moment at the Wall of Champions and then broke his rear wing and got in the pits. But yeah.
Just going to position changes, we've got Nick up 5 places, Mark has gone up to 6, but that kind of hinders him now because he started on the hards, so
yeah, definitely. Martin just said
good time for him.
Yeah, Martin just said, I find that this track you start losing the rear around lap 7 on mediums unless you change the brake bias a bit. Gets very leery on the chicane, in the chicane otherwise. Yeah, I can imagine that's the case. I mean, I'll tell you what, right? Mark Hodgson will either hate me for what I'm about to say or love me for what I'm about to say. But I think he has deliberately stayed out on the track there right now, just so he can say he's led a tier 1 race. Because, yeah. But, I mean, to be fair, he wasn't hard tyres, so if he did pit, he would have been pretty... Well, he wouldn't have got to the end on mediums from here, would he?
No, it would. He probably would have been within puncture territory if not receiving the puncture. The mediums, as good as they are, like as we saw on high fuel, the softs got you 8 laps, even towards the end. They wouldn't have got you very far. Starting on the mediums, you're probably looking to box around lap 12, lap 13. The game thinks the ultimate strategy is the quicker strategy, so you want to take this hard up to about lap 20, so you get 15 an extra lap out of the mediums essentially because you're on lighter fuel. But even then on lighter fuel, you're still within the 50%, maybe 60%, depending on how bad you are on your tyres on the rears.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. It's the thing is, naturally this is a track where you wouldn't necessarily expect based off like the layout, you wouldn't necessarily expect tyre wear to be the absolute major factor here, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, on this game though, tyre wear's a factor everywhere. You could drive in a straight line for the entire race and not have to turn a single corner, and you still have 100% by the time you get 100 yards. So.
Yeah, I think when you do your outlapping qualifying on this track, depending on how soft you are going out, when I was going out, I was probably getting 2% on the rears, and that was just an outlap, and you're not pushing it, you're just doing a bit of weaving to get the heat in the tyres. So
well, when you're doing practice sessions, it tends to be like, because it's also like if you're doing official practice, for example, that will be run at the time of like practice would be in real life, and naturally the track temps are different, there's less grip on the track, etc., etc. So that will naturally play. It's almost slightly unrealistic to what you're going to feel, especially in qualifying. It's definitely unrealistic to what you'll feel. So yeah, it's like you'll probably notice that if you do a hot lap in practice, it'll be nothing compared to what you'd do if you was to do it in a qualified 18-minute session. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. But also, TT is the worst thing you can do on this game. Every track I've driven on this game, TT just is terrible.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that I actually use TT for is just to kind of get a baseline setup and then move on to GP modes.
Yeah, that's understandable. But Mark Hodgson, can Mark Hodgson lead a lap of tier 1? YouTube chat, let me know. If not, give me a number of corner that he's putting it in the ball in on this lap. Oh, I'm so dead after this. But let's see. I'm saying Wall of Champions eclipse it. That's my prediction. Jamie, if that happens now, I want my 1 kg eggs, please. As you're not giving them to Calvin, I think I've earned them. But G-Star, 3 seconds. I'll tell you what, we haven't seen as many penalties as I expected. So...
Xavier got through on Colin, and then it's kind of like Colin just stepped aside and let Johnny and Ben through.
I think, Colin's spun. I think he's spun. Yeah, he has. He's gone. I think he's beached as well.
His car's beached it, yeah.
You can reset to track if the car is beached. That is within the rules. There is league rules on this. Okay, no, I think he's managed to get it off himself. He's all good. But, Carl Burnett just said Colin went bowling. Essentially. But,
3 seconds to Mark now.
Yeah. But he is leading this race, and tell you what, he's not looking too bad off potentially pulling out the DRS and J side here either. But this is going to be Xavier, Ben, Eugenie, Chris, Mike Rush will all want to get through at the same time.
Yeah, you need to kind of be able to follow the car in front of you through quite quickly. You don't want to be able to, you don't want the one car to follow or to get through and then be impeded by the car that you're trying to overtake and lose time on the next one above. But Xavier's got through on J Sarge, so I imagine it's only, I'm going to say within a lap he gets past Mark with the 12 lap tyre offset. Yeah,
without a doubt. But I tell you what, look at this between Sarge and Ben. Ben's made it through. This could also, you don't have much pressure tyres. He might go around the outside, but no, Sarge holds him off just for the time being. But Eugenie's still there, but you know he had to back out. Great racing though.
Micro match gave Chris a bit of a tuck in the rear there.
Yeah, certainly. But I tell you what, Chris is the biggest loser out of all of this. Is Eugenie. He's now down to a net 5th place. Bailey's now up to the podium. But the two that this has helped majorly is Xavier and Ben, because now they've escaped these 3. So is this now down to a 2-horse race? Don't get me wrong, you can never ever in a million years rule Eugenie out of any race. But Micromash has just passed us Bailey for P4.
No, but this is what I was saying, because J Sarge, Eugenie didn't get J Sarge when Ben did. He kind of planted himself between them. He's got pass, but then obviously Chris and Micromash have got involved, so they've been having a little battle, so losing the time.
Yeah, without a doubt. So,
exactly,
yeah, that is
Micromash, he's within the DRS of Mark. He's on the edge of the DRS to Ben, so if he stays in it, it's going to help pull Micromash along.
Mark's just dropped out. He's sort of hovering in and out of it at the minute, Mark is.
Eugenie's then just past Micromash.
Yeah, Eugenie's back on a charge, so definitely getting interesting. I'll tell you who is insanely impressive in this race, Mr. Nick BT, the Tier 2 driver. He's right in the battle for a podium here.
I think he started P12 or 13, is it? So he's up.
Something like that. I know he didn't have the greatest Tier 2 race. I think he finished 9th in the end, but
I think he put a picture in Discord. I think he had a rear left puncture. So I'm
not
sure
wow.
I don't know if he had contact with somebody to get that, or it was just a tyre wear.
I'll tell you what though, I think the most frightening sight for any MRC driver has just popped up on everyone's screen, and that is that Eugeni's done a fastest lap, because that means he's pushing, and when Eugeni pushes, it's not normally very long till he's in the lead of the race. So
no, but he's got to gain 7/10 just to get back in the DRS of Ben. So
I'm going to say one thing to you, okay? In response to that, this is Eugeni. I will predict now, by lap 20, he will be well within range of that lead. Well within.
I'm not doubting it in the slightest. I'm just saying it's to make nearly a second, and I guarantee Ben and Sadie are just going to DRS swap every lap. They're going to... Even though they're on different teams, if I was them, I would turn on a journey got 3 seconds as well.
That's game changing potentially. It'd be interesting to know how many warnings Mr. Ben and Xavier have, because now obviously those two are now the firm favourites for this win. I mean, they were anyway, but now they literally are.
Yeah, they'll have seen that. I had a bit of sigh of relief on, we'll watch our warnings, but just back to what I was saying, if I was them pair, I'd just be DRS swapping like crazy. It would be like, let's not let this person get back in our DRS, because it's the last thing you want.
Yeah. I mean, if there's anyone that can win with a 3-second penalty from here, it's Eugeni. He could... it wouldn't surprise me to see him overtake both of these and then build a 3-second gap. But I mean, Ben's the biggest... Xavier on this form, scary. Ben has been the biggest challenger to Eugeni we've had in 7 seasons, so I think not going to be as easy for him, but it's getting interesting.
What was it, second or third race last season? I looked at the standings and he only just missed out on the title by, was it 8 points? Was it?
I can't remember, but I know he pushed him to the... Usually, let's put it this way, Eugeni most of the time has secured it with about 3 races to go. So
yeah, I think I remember he pushed him all the way to the last race. I think he only needed a P5 or above to win the title. So if Ben was involved right from the very start, would he have got the title himself?
But if I'm not mistaken, Xavier won race 1, did he not, last week?
He did, yeah. He won it 11,000th to Ben.
And this is just proving as well that this is no, like, fluke win. Xavier's genuinely there, ready to take a title battle to Ben and Eugeni this season.
Oh yeah, we all talk about the raw pace of Ben and Eugeni. As I said in qualifying, Xavier was only, what, 2/10 behind him, but if he's placed in third every race to start off with, his race pace is on par with theirs, so he then has every chance to always win. He doesn't need to get pole position, really.
Yeah, so just to point out at the minute, as things stand, alright, well, Ben's just overtaken Xavier, but if that move didn't happen, the front 3 would be the exact same as it was this time last week.
Yeah.
So, I've got a feeling this, based off this is a promising sign so far, because I'll tell you what as well, I was picking up Eugeni, and he's actually fallen more into the clutches of Micromash than he has caught up to those guys. Let's look at the penalty, but Micromash has 9 seconds of penalties, 3 for Eugeni, 3 for Bailey, 6 for Nick, 3 for Bobo, 6 for Mark, but Mark obviously still needs to pit as well, 3 for Bergen, 6 for Calvin, and then there's a lot of penalties towards the back, 16 seconds for Jay Sarge. Is there any part of the track he's decided to stay on today?
He sped into the pit lane a few moments ago, so...
Oh, that'll be what caused that then.
It's one of the things with the pit lane, it's how much do you want to attack a pit lane? But for me, I err on the side of caution, it's not worth that potential 10 seconds.
Yeah, I agree. Xavier's just taking the lead back from Ben. Micromash another 3 seconds. That's 12 for Micromash now.
As I say, it all seems to be happening on the 11-12 chicane. It's so easy to cut that 12 corner by millimetres.
Yeah, without a doubt. But I think in terms of overtaking spots at this track. Like, obviously, you got this DRS that the leaders are now approaching, this DRS, so I don't see this as an overtaking spot. It's it's almost too tight to make one under the bridge, isn't it? Unless you're fully alongside by the time you get there.
Under the bridge just isn't worth it unless you get the traction beforehand, and as you say, you're right behind, then yes, it's worth it, but it's a fairly quick corner, so you don't really want to go side by side to it.
Yeah, totally. But it's even turn 1 though, I wouldn't even call that an ideal, because I mean, into turn 2 you can then make the move, you know what I mean? But the actual into turn 1, it's hard to make a move because turn 1 is fairly high speed, in all honesty, until you then downshift all the way for turn 2. But
Mark Marshall has taken Pagoni, so not helping his race there at all.
Yeah, it's Johnny's really. Well, I mean, his fight with Micromash is not helping him in any way, shape or form, but I think this has now just pretty much confirmed that this race now is between Xavier and Ben. This could come down to something as fine as who gets a penalty out of these two, really. That's what it could come down to.
Yeah.
But the one thing Johnny doesn't want to do is back off too much, because all it takes is one track extend, and these two could very well end up on 3 just like him, and then all of a sudden he's in a fair battle for the virtual safety car.
Lorpy's lost his entire front wing.
He's had a moment. He's just put he's on hard tyres at 11 lap old. I wonder, could we potentially see Joni or someone, maybe Bailey, try something a bit different here, being as they're not really in a fight for the win at the minute, but a set of mediums potentially could. Yeah, tell you what, Bobo, he's the one. I had a feeling someone would try something. I had a strange feeling someone might. Surely he's going on to mediums. He is.
Yeah, he has. Softs again, they won't stretch for 12 laps.
But it might be a bit better now they're on low fuel. That's the only thing I would say. They might last a bit longer. So, who knows. But Bobo is the gambler. It'd be interesting. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on his progress. Let's just say that. I'm interested to see where can he get back into the battle of those guys that he was with.
I just want to point out, we mentioned him at the start of the race. Armour Red in 10th place, no penalties. Obviously, we don't know his warning. Of 7 positions.
Yeah. Yes. I mean,
but
I think
he has had Bobo come right out behind him, so we'll see what Bobo's pace is like right behind him.
I think the driver that's going to be incredibly disappointed today is Ant, because obviously he was right in that battle at the start, even for the race win, and he's also got no penalties, so he would be firmly in amongst it. But yeah, it's a huge shame for him today.
It's very disheartening when you're in a train of 5 or 6 at the top, spin out, and then you know that's race over that point. You're not getting back in it.
Oh, tier 1, tier 1, you can't afford a single mistake. Like, that one mistake, if it drops you out of DRS, you can't drop out of DRS in tier 1. At that point, it's virtually race over. Because these guys are so wildly consistent that the chances of you, unless you're just Joni or Ben or Saviour, is pretty much done then. You know what I mean? So. But we have got a battle for the last podium spot here between Joni. Micromash isn't in it because he's got 12 seconds of penalties. However, Chris Bailey is in it. So if Chris can get Micromash, all of a sudden you've got a bit of a battle between him and Joni. But Micromash, something has happened to, because he's dropped so far off the back of Joni now.
Yeah, Joni passed him last lap. I'm wondering, has he pushed his hards a bit too hard and he's got a lot of time there?
Contact that we don't know about, potentially.
Lorpy's had another spin coming out of turn 2.
Yeah, not ideal. Lorpy struggled in. Oh, it's a McLaren! I think that was Lorpy again. It was a lap car. I was on with the leaders. I was like, I think one of the leaders have lost it.
Yeah, I think he's just down from him. He's just getting out of the way of people.
Yeah. But now we've got an interest, like Bailey. I think Bailey will be. I mean, it's not Micromash's fault, but I think Bailey will be a bit frustrated with Micromash because he got stuck behind him, and then that's allowed you, Jody, to pull away and potentially cost Chris a chance at the podium now.
Yeah, it's a bit of how do you take it, because obviously as a driver, even though you've got all those pens, you want the product finishing at a certain position on track. So
oh yeah, of course.
But then it's obviously annoying for the person behind thinking, you've got all these penalties, can you please move out the way? But you're just not going to do that, are you?
Oh no, of course, like Micromash is well within his rights, but I think from Chris's point of view, he'd be like, oh, I'm edging at the bit to try and get you Jody here, I want my first podium of the season. And I mean, even put himself potentially in the title, you know, whispers, but it's just, you know, I've got a feeling though we're seeing a big, massive game of chess here between Ben and Xavier. I think that's currently what we're witnessing.
I wonder if either of them have calculated it. I mean, you try and be calculating at what point who's going to be the second person going into the last lap, because if neither of them have got penalties, you want to be that second person because you want the DRS.
Yeah, of course you do, but you know, it's we have seen that kind of racing in MRC. I don't think we've ever seen an incident really from it where someone's backed off to give the other the DRS, blah blah blah. But they can't afford to play too many games because they have still got Eugenie to worry about. Even though he's got a 3-second penalty, everyone knows just never discount Eugenie. Just never ever do it. So
they've only got to pick up a warning. If that's their third, it's brought him right back into it. So you don't really want to be playing the games.
Yeah, for sure. But this is very, very... It's going to be a very exciting end because, you know, we know that this is, you know, the battle for the win now between Xavier and Ben. Xavier will be... I think if he wins this, we'll have his confidence sky high. And Xavier with his confidence... We know as well he's won, I think, 3 titles at Brazil before. So he's absolutely insane at Brazil. So, yeah. It's a... It could be a very interesting battle. Who has, sorry?
J Sarge.
Oh, well...
5-6 chicane, is it?
No safety car brought out for it though, that's positive news. But Ben has put his foot down on this lap. And look at the gap.
The Saviour.
Yeah, he's just got the fastest lap as well. Has Saviour got any response? Because if he has, it has to be now. But if you look at the rear end of that Aston Martin, it is flashing red. So Saviour's trying to harvest some of that ERS. Obviously, I'm not going to show on stream how much percentage they have because we know it's just an unwritten rule. We don't show it on stream really, but...
Yeah, I do have it up myself so I can see the differences between the two. Obviously,
is there a big difference?
Say, but no.
Okay. Interesting. But, yeah, these guys are definitely... Eugenie, for the first time in my life, I'm going to almost say Eugenie's not a threat at this point. He's falling further back. So these two are now pushing. I think they've now got to the point where, okay, we've saved our tyres, we've played mind games enough. It comes down to this now.
Yeah, it's kind of easier now for these two to save the tyres or save the DRS swapping. Obviously, Eugenie's going to be wanting to get back into DRS, so he's going to have to push his tyres to get back in, so it's a difficult one for him.
Yeah, definitely. But Bobo now with the fastest lap. So that, I'll tell you what, actually, I forgot to monitor his progress. He put those mediums on, he dropped down to 13th, and he's back up to 7th. So he's pretty much back up to where he was. And he's only about 10 seconds off Chris Bailey at the minute. I know 5 lap, but I don't think he's going to be 2 seconds a lap quicker than Chris, but it's wild.
Depending on what he could do, because obviously Chris has got 6 seconds worth of penalties, Bobo's got 3, Nick's on 9, so he's going to jump Nick. Can he get close enough to Chris and jump Chris as well with the penalty?
Yeah. Definitely, this is, I mean, yeah. He's taken a second out of Nick on this lap.
Yeah, the gap between Nick and Chris has been hovering between about 3.5 to 4 seconds. It's now just edging to that 4 seconds, so coming more towards Bobo towards the end.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, another driver, like you just said, almost sitting very, very pretty, is the man in the Alpine. He's been really impressive today, almost quietly impressive, and that's Sam Flan.
Yeah, I think just from a few of the messages he's put, he's just maybe lacking a bit of confidence, but his pace is there. He just needs to just gain that little bit of confidence back from what I've seen.
Well, last season was I believe his first season in Tier 1, and then the season before that, he beat the Fox River 8 in Tier 2 for the Tier 2 title. And that went down right to the wire, and since then we've seen Fox on the podium in Tier 1. He's had a bit of a better time of it, but Sam Flan sort of really struggled to get to grips with Tier 1. But towards the end of last season and the start of this season, he's been very much, you know, in the mix for good points. And I mean, 8th place, especially with a point tally of 15 now, of 15 places, 8th place is a very good position to be in. So
I really like the new change that we've gone to that new style of point systems. Again, just going back to the race I had in Tier 2, obviously I dropped down basically last. I was just getting a bit fed up, but I was like, obviously the new point system, I was like, if I can make 1 or 2 gains, then every point is going to help towards the end.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I find it depressing because it means I still won't score any points. I needed all 20 to get points, and even then I still wouldn't.
Yeah, so you're selling yourself short there. I've heard you're a better driver than that.
I wish I was. But anyway, it's not about me, this race. This is about the battle for the lead, Ben and Saviour. Do you want to make a last minute 2-lap sprint prediction?
I'm still sticking with Saviour. I'm just looking at the gap, and Jody's brought the gap down by a second, but I don't think he's in the fight title unless Ben and Saviour take themselves out.
Saviour's just had a huge moment. I don't know if you've noticed that gap's got a bit bigger, but he went into the entry of turn, I think it's 6 or 7, and he had a massive squirm on the entry, and that lost him any sort of traction and any sort of momentum into the next part. And the man behind him has taken about 4 to 5 tenths out of him as well.
Yeah, if you look at the DRS, obviously the DRS zone now, Saviour's going to bring that gap back down to about 3 tenths. So it's not a huge loss for him. He'll be annoyed with himself, but
I think it was like an unexpected tyre wear that kicked in for him at that very moment, to be honest with you. I think it just caught him a bit off guard, but
yeah, it's a bit slippy, this track, even in the dry it's slippy. I think as I said at the start, the hards are really durable. You're only looking at about maybe 30-odd%, 35% that they're doing.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Saviour will probably, in all honesty, he'll probably be hoping to get the move done on this lap. I don't know, would I rather leave the last lap?
It depends if Ben saved up all of his ERS. Unless Saviour is very close, he's even 4
He's had a
tenths.
very good exit.
I mean, if I was Ben, I'd probably let him take the place, depending on how much
He's
ERS
done
he's
it.
got. That, of course, but
Yeah. But it all comes down to this. Last week, these two were separated by 0.01. Ben's having a look up the inside into turn one. He's not quite able to get it done this time. But he had to look for the switchback. But Saviour very, very smartly cut that off. But he's had a bit of a wobble on the exit. Now we had 2, 3, and 4. And these guys are still very much nip and tuck. Joni's coming for a bit of a last lap battle. He's not really in the battle for the win though because of his 3-second penalty. J Sarge gets another 3 seconds. I think he's up to like something like 20 seconds now. It's not been an ideal return for the sergeant, but Ben is right there. He's ready to pounce on the German. Ben hunting down his first title. He'll be hoping to get his further win, but he makes a lunge into the hairpin. There's contact between the two, side pod to front wheel. But that's going to put Saviour behind. Who's going to get the DRS? As Ben absolutely screwed this. Because I think Saviour might have backed out to deliberately take it. But Ben has got it. But is the ERS of Saviour and the slipstream going to bring it back into play? Possibly not. But Saviour's really much better on the brakes. He gets the better exit. This is going to be super close. But Ben's got the DRS, which is going to win him the race. Saviour will be second. Journey will be third. Micromash is fourth. Bailey will take fourth from him, though. Bobo, great recovery. It just, I mean, he didn't really gain anything in the end from pitting, but it's probably made his race feel a little bit better towards the end. I believe he took fastest lap as well. But as you know, he does get Micromash.
Yeah, it's gained him into fifth. As I was saying, if he got close enough to the people in front, they had the time penalties. So
yeah, Nick as well. He's into P7 and good recovery from Ant into P8. Samflan takes P9 in the end. He'll be happy with that. Good day for the Alpine boys. Bergen takes 10th. Armour Red is 11th. Mark gets 12th. He'll be happy with points. Calvin in 30th. LRL, great to see him back in the points as well. And then G-Star takes the last points paying position. Rassam is the last racer on the lead lap. He will come home in P16. And then obviously you've got Lorpy, who's I think a couple of laps down or even a lap down, who will cross the line in a minute or two. He's just coming up to the final chicanes now. And then that'll be him across the line. And that'll be tier 1. Don't forget, as always, these are just the provisional results. There is obviously stewarding. Well, if there is any reports, but steward's results will potentially mix up the grid a little bit. But I mean, the race seems fairly clean. There might be the odd report, but I don't think it'll be anything like too drastic. But your provisional results, the half on the top step, because Ben has won. It's the same top 3 as last week, just the top 2 switched around though.
yeah, I mean, as I say, everyone's obviously talking about Ujoni and Ben for title fight. You just can't rule out Saviour. Like he's
No,
going to be
definitely
right
not.
with him.
Yeah, definitely, I agree. But let's take you through the provisional results. Ben takes the win. Saviour is second. Ujoni third. Chris Bailey is fourth. Bobo takes fifth. Micromash 6th, Nick BT 7th, Ant is in 8th, Samflan 9th, Bergen takes 10th, Armour Red is 11th, Mark is 12th, Calvin 13th, LRO in 14th, G-Star takes the last points in 15th, Rassam 16th, J-Star 17th, Colin 18th, Lorpy 19th, and your only DNF was Baby L Hornet. I'm going to let you have the privilege of picking a driver of the day.
I'm going to choose Bobo, up from 10th, gained 5 places, fastest lap. Yeah, I'll stick with Bobo.
Yeah, fully deserved. He tried to be a bit different with his strategy, ended up gaining a place because of it as well. So, yeah, there is your driver of the day. That is Bobo. Congrats to Ben on the win. Saviour as well with a great battle. Ujoni got caught up in a few things which put him out of it. Obviously, the time penalty as well. But don't forget, we are back still here in Canada for Tier 3 and MRC Extreme on Wednesday. And then, of course, we will have MRCX back on Friday in Brazil. I think I've forgotten the calendar. I'm so useless. Yeah, it is in Brazil, where you'll have a double 25% race special. So that's a new one. Keep an eye out for that. I'm sure Ben will post check-in very, very soon for that. So get your names down nice and... Oh, as I say that, he's literally posted it. But yeah. So, yeah, that'll be it from me. Don't forget to tune in. Lewis, thank you very much for joining me on comms, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me.
Well, not a problem at all. But yeah, that'll be it. Don't forget to leave a like, all that jazz, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.